Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord, brothers and sisters. I would like to share a testimony of my own life. My name is Mihiran Fonseka. I'm one of the volunteers of Divine Retreat Center. And today being the second anniversary, it has been a lot of miracles, a lot of testimonies if you really look at our lives of all our volunteers. So I thought it was the right time for me to share my testimony being a volunteer at Divine Retreat Center. So I'll make it short and sweet because Jerry has stolen about 5 minutes of my time, so I'll make it short and sweet. So it was the 20th of September. It is almost about 2.5 months by now. On the 20th of September, I got up in the morning and I had gone into the washroom, and then I had come back and told my wife that I can't remember anything. I had gone blank. I was walking, I was talking, I was smiling, but I had gone blank. And I had told the first thing that I said, that I asked was, where is my little daughter? Because I know for sure she went to school, and I had asked where she is. And then my wife realized that there was something wrong. And obviously she understood, and then the first thing that she did was, being a volunteer, she's also a volunteer who is sitting just behind over there, and she reached out for divine intervention before even talking to a doctor, because we have one of our neighbors who is one of my very best friends. Before even talking to the doctor, the first thing that she did was she reached out to some of the priests and to some of the volunteers and to some of the intercessories, asking for the divine intervention. That was the first thing that she did. And then after that, I was taken into hospital, and while being driven by her, all what she did was, she held my hand, and she had asked me to recite the rosary as loud as possible. To see, and I've been doing that quite well, even though I did not have sense. And mind you, she's a non-Christian, she's a non-Catholic, she's a non-Christian, and but her faith of asking the divine intervention at that moment. So my elder daughter was also sitting in the car behind, so she used to tell me what went on, though I don't still remember what went through those few hours. And I was taken to hospital, and then now I look at all the investigations which has gone through, and then the first investigation, written in red is acute stroke, immediate attention. And then I have been taken into MRI, CT scans, all those things. And then, so to cut the story short, by about 3 o'clock, I started gaining my normal conscience, and then I could remember. From there onwards, I could start remembering what went on. So then I kept on asking what happened. So all the investigations were done. So for about 2 weeks, there were extensive investigations done to find out what this was. And then it came out to be, the people who know about the medical terms, it's called transient global amnesia, which happens due to stress or lack of sleep or many other reasons. So, and then all the results which came out, there was no reason for that to happen, right? I mean, there was no reason that anyone could find out as to why that happened, right? But if you look at, if I turn back and see, coming out of that, I realized, are we prepared for that moment? I realized how easy it is for us for the transition from this world to another world. I realized that. It doesn't take, I didn't even know. I just went to the washroom and I came back. I couldn't remember anything beyond that. And I was just thinking, I hope the day that I actually make the transition, I make the transition that day, that way. And I had a bit of an anxiety. There were two anxieties actually, because I have never been a person who have been taking medicine. I didn't have any ailments. I didn't have any cholesterol, sugar, nothing. So I never took any medication. But that morning, after when I was being tested in the emergency unit, my cholesterol was high, the blood sugar was high, the pressure was high, everything was unusual. 3 days before, just myself and my wife, we asked regular checkups. We do that. So 3 days before, we both checked and we were all normal. And then this happens after 3 days and everything is abnormal. And then I was put on high medication. So I got into a bit of a anxiety situation. Number one, I have never been taking medicine, but now, okay, I'm taking huge amount of medicines right now. And also, the second anxiety which I didn't realize, if this was the moment that I was to make the transition to the other world, how prepared were I? Am I ready? That was an anxiety. So, and I started seeing and I started feeling, okay, this can happen at any moment again. But the doctor said, okay, transient global amnesia doesn't happen again. Statistically, that never, very rarely it happens again in life, but never, in 99% cases, it never happens. So, it was a clear message, or it was an eye-opening and a clear message that I felt God gave me. And my testimony doesn't stop there. 2 weeks down the line, so I was taking blood thinners and all, and which I was not at all used to. And when I started taking blood thinners, I felt a bit tired and all that because I've never been used to those medication. And then I started having short breath. I was having sort of feeling tired. And then one evening, one Sunday I was at Divine Retreat Center here, and then from Divine Retreat Center I had to go straight to hospital because I was finding it difficult to breathe. And then I was taken back to the emergency unit, and then tested again. And then to cut the story short, everything was normal. They checked whether I got a heart attack and all that, and then nothing, absolutely nothing. The only thing that was my heart rate was very high. And then they identified that I had additional beats. Those are called heptonic beats, or the medical people might know it's called heptonic beats or something, where additional beats are. So they identified that I had additional beats in my heart. And then after that I was put on medication and then tried to settle it down. And then after that I was put on a Holter monitor. And then they monitored my heartbeat. And the results came out, and I had 25% more heartbeats. That means my heart was running 25% more speedier than a normal person's heart. Every fourth beat I had an additional beat, right? So it's like the gypsies seems to be having additional beats. So I was referred to the electrocardiac surgeon, and then the cardiac surgeon was out of the country, so I had to stay for about a month to get an appointment from him. And the doctor said, you don't have to worry because you're under medication, but you don't have to worry. And then they said, okay, you're under blood thinners, you don't get heart attacks, don't worry. So not that I was worried about. So on the 1st of December, just a few days ago, I managed to get the appointment, and I showed it to the doctor, and the doctor said, my gosh, 25%. Nothing could be done with medication. You'll have to go through a surgical procedure where there's a word that you say to knock off some of those beats. Basically, you cut off some of the drum beats, right? So he said, okay, 16th, which is today, you get admitted to hospital. We'll do the procedure on 16th, and then we'll go home. You can go home on Sunday, which is tomorrow. So I looked at my wife. My wife looked at me, and then he said, okay, my gosh, 16th is a big day for us. And I asked doctor, is it urgent, and can we have another day? Because we both have some engagements on the 16th. The doctor said, okay, fine. And then he looked at me and said, okay, by the way, why don't we repeat this test? And then he said, okay, you go back. So I think that was Friday or Thursday or Friday. I went back, and then on Monday morning I went back for the Holter monitor. Monday I put on the Holter monitor. Tuesday, the full day I went on with the Holter monitor as usual in office. Went through the normal harangues, going up and down staircases. And then I got the result. So basically I was also quite curious. And I kept everything at the foot of the altar. And someone told me, don't pray for things not to happen. Pray for the real thing to happen in God. Right, so all what we did was, and also, some of the priests even at Divine Retreat Center prayed for me. Our intercessors, our volunteers, all our known parties prayed for me. And then I was also quite curious. I was supposed to show it back to doctor on Thursday, but for my curiosity, I asked the people, the doctor said, so you're having 25% more of beats. So a general person would have about 1%. But if it is less than 10%, that's not an issue. You can take care of with medication. But 25% you can never control with medication. So anyway, just let's do a repeat. So that's why I said let's do a repeat and see. And then so I was quite curious, and I didn't want to wait to go and collect the report. I said, okay, WhatsApp me the first 2 pages of the Holter monitor report. And then on Wednesday at about 12 o'clock, I was in the middle of a meeting, and here comes the WhatsApp. So I said a Hail Mary and opened the report. Guess what? It's God's glory. The percentage of abnormal beats was 0.11%. 0.11. Praise the Lord. Right? And I went back to the doctor on Thursday, and he looked at me and said, he first of all checked the accuracy of the Holter monitor. It says 100%, right? And he said, I have nothing to do with you. This is amazing. I don't know how this happened. And he put a note and sent back to the doctor, said, I have nothing to do with this patient. There's absolutely nothing wrong. And then you don't have to come back to me. Praise the Lord.